A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon deep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Broken art I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
An empty plastic bottle would give you 50 cents. A soda can, 60 cents. A used food container, 80. Wondering why I know this? Because that's my job. I am a trash picker at my school.
Harry, the trash prince is on a roll today. And how was your trashy affair with Bella coming? She lets you kiss her with that stink?
Their words don't bother me. They don't know why I do what I do. And my secret. I edge close to my class when I hear Bella and her friend talking.
You can't be serious, Bella. You want me to break up with him for you?
I would do it myself if his poverty didn't give me the creeps.
You are unbelievable.
I come face to face with Bella's friend. She knew I heard the conversation and couldn't meet my eyes. She hands me the new phone I bought for Bella and walks away. I saved for months to buy her this phone. I walk down the empty corridor with a heavy heart, pick the phone out of the box, slip my SIM in, and switch it on. When... Harry Parker, you have passed the poverty test? You are now the heir to Parker family's billions worth of assets?
If Harry is a billionaire, why does he work as a trash picker? What is his big secret? Why did he not reveal his billionaire status to Bella? To know more, listen to the audio series Destiny Reloaded, only on Pocket FM.
Presentation. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day to you, one and all, as we are back here for the second time in channel history at VIR, and it's the second time that we're here at VIR for the Sunday Top Split Strength of Field broadcast for the Mission R Challenge. It is now Timothy Cook, apparently, here with you, and unnamed changed, Matt Williamson. No gimmick changes for you here, as it's a little bit darker than the last time we were here on the channel, but it's always a bright day here whenever we can feature VIR on Turn 200.
Yeah, this is a track that, we came to last season in the PMR as well. So these drivers should be mostly familiar with it, as we are now as well. There's a couple pretty tough sections here for this car in particular. That S section is pretty tough here, as there's about 4 or 5 S's in a row. And with the heavy load on this car, makes it pretty difficult to navigate those.
Yes, we saw a walkaway victory last season from Dario Frattini. He is not here today, but great battling for second all the way down to the stripe between Enrico Trenti and JJ Wang, who is here and right now provisionally at the top of the board. Speaking of our reigning and defending series champion, why don't we take a look at the point standings heading into today's event?
Yeah, as we go ahead and look at the points, it has slowly but surely become a 2-horse race here for the championship. JJ Wang, you mentioned it, still at the top of the points with 526. Ellis Spice is only 9 points behind in second. And then to go down to third, you have to go all the way down to 140 points back from JJ Wang is Jamie Himmel-Smith. Thortola not here again today. Was previously a points leader, has dropped all the way down to 4th after not running a couple of weeks in a row. Then you get Sam Widgie, who is here today. Then Olivia Hayward, Andre Castro, and Indica Scarlett actually tied for 7th there between Castro and Scarlett. And then AJ Coley and Adrian Johansson round out the top 10.
So some of those drivers are here, some of them are not here. Most notably, last week's winner, Andre Castro, is not here today. Either. But the points leader, JJ Wang, had to battle through the field of Mount Panorama last week after not setting a qualifying time. 2 minutes left to go in qualifying. A handful of drivers still out making their attempts right now, and provisionally, JJ on the pole. So not wanting to make that mistake, or rather, I guess, hamper himself with a great drive through the field once again. He's looking to start out front, and there might be the move here. To get yourself away from traffic as much as possible, if you can even do that here at VIR. It's a tough test.
Yeah, I mean it's a very fast track. I mean, you have a couple of spots on this circuit that you're going to be able to get the big slipstream that is pretty big in this car in particular. So it's going to help everybody kind of stay closer together. After you go through the 5-turn snake section, you're going to do almost a hairpin and come down a very, very long straight into a hard braking zone, into a couple other tight little snaky type sections as well. So it's if you can keep up with the person in front of you, you're going to be rewarded with being able to pull back in front of them when you get to those straightaways.
Yeah, so officially listed as a 20-turn circuit here, the full circuit. The track ends at turn 17, but there's also A turns for a couple of these, so we just end up with 20. No Madison Avenue down the long back straightaway, so it is uninterrupted from turn 12 all the way to the roller coaster section. This is a difficult course, especially for a car that does not like the lateral loads like this car does. But it is a fun circuit, and it is becoming more and more of a popular circuit as time rolls along here on iRacing. And it is now time to hit the starting grid for the 6th time this season on the Sunday Top Split Strength of Field broadcast. Nearly a split here today. 23 drivers will take for this 20-minute feature. JJ Wang and Michael Herman Fry right now on the front row. Olivia Hayward will start at 3rd. Sam Widgie on the outside of row number 2. Tom Wallach and Indica Scarlett on row number 3. Ella Spice and James Watson back in the field. He starts in 8th. Lane Doyle, Amy Grimmy got a top 10 last week at Mount Panorama. Amy will start in 10th. Jamie Himmel-Smith and Ryan Phillips, 2 familiar names there on row 6. Matt Schlosser is back in the field for today. He starts in 13th next to Alexander Catterwall in 14th. John Schneebel, Rebecca Draven, Vincent Stebner, Connor Stackler, Georgie Trepsick, Adrian Johansson, Dennis Racy, Ace Gomez, and Ethan Stewart, the rest of the starting lineup here. Some track conditions for us here.
Yeah, looking at the track conditions, pretty favorable for the drivers here. Only 82 degrees on the track temperature, so that'll be good for the drivers as they attempt to not let these tires heat up too terribly much throughout the course of this race. We're expecting about 12 laps here. Obviously, the 20-minute time race here for this car. Not going to have to take pit stops. There is a 17x disqualification limit. So there are definitely places to go off track and make quite a bit of contact. We saw some rubbing and tugging here last season as well. So that is certainly on the table.
Only 2 disqualifications on the Sunday Top Split Strength of Field broadcast last season, and they both came in this race here at VIR. So disqualifications not off the table, especially for some of those who are going to have to do some juking and jiving and surviving here on the opening lap, especially when we get to turns 5 and onward. The lights are coming on. Counting down. J.J. Wang. Michael Herman Fry not going to take to the starting grid, so second will be vacant here on the starting grid as J.J. Wang leads the field down into turn number 1. A false start for Vincent Stebner. He will have a penalty to serve as Olivia Hayward trying to cover off Sam Widgie for second, and Hayward will have the spot. Trying to get single file, nearly piling into one another there. Into the left hook, ironically. Some jabs being thrown here.
Oh, wow. And Widgie right up to the back of Hayward nearly gave a bump to Olivia Hayward, but they keep it rolling here. Farther back in the pack, Ace Gomez. Oh, and another one. I think that's Cattermole that went off as well with Gomez.
Yes, indeed. Cattermole off. So is Gomez. Healthy lead for J.J. Wang here, headed up to the South Bend.
Yeah, and as we go through the South Bend into turns 11 and 12 to the Oak Tree. 11 and 12 is where you're going to see some dives for passes here.
Nearly a bumper there. Laid to Sam Widgie from Tom Wallich in third and fourth. Ace Gomez going to retire after the early incident.
This is that big, long straight we talked about before the race started. Then they have to go into this slow left to right-hander and then back to the left. That's a pretty awkward little section there after carrying so much speed up to it.
Speed's over 100 and now 120, 130 miles an hour out of the hog pen, down the front straightaway. J.J. Wang leads the opener. 2 wins in the last 3 weeks for J.J., plus the hard charger last week at Mount Panorama. Oh, Hayward, a bit of an awkward corner there, catches third place Widgie out.
Side by side, farther back, John Schneebel and Georgie Trepsick trying to get that position number 13 sorted out.
We talk a bit about the draft in this car, how powerful it can be at times. JJ does seem to be better at the slower sections of the track, but Hayward and Widgie and others are able to close back up in these long, winding sections of this course.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you can just stay with the car in front of you a little bit, you're going to be rewarded with being able to pull back up to them on the long straight. So you don't necessarily have to be faster through those sections. You just have to be able to keep pace.
Well, JJ is doing much better through the intricate sections, and I would say in a couple more laps, if it keeps up like this, he is going to be out of danger, at least until these tires decide that they want to go.
Yeah, that's a big player here at this race. You have these a lot of sweeping type of turns. We've talked greatly about the S sections. There's a lot of S curves through this course, something that this car does not like. Heats those tires up, and when you get those tires heated up, that's when you start having problems.
You're mentioning the battle between Trepsick and Schneebel. John Schneebel went for a spin, and Trepsick had to cut the entire roller coaster to miss him, so he had a big slowdown penalty to serve. So that battle has broken up. Second, third, and fourth, nose to tail. It's Hayward, Widgie, and Wallach.
Oh, no! There's a few off
And
here.
problems for Grimmy and Phillips. Quick on the draw. Phillips says that crash was his fault.
Oh, and another one almost off here. That was Trepsick.
Olivia Hayward has a slowdown penalty right now in second.
And J.J.
Widgie
Wang
already bearing down.
J.J. Wang turned the fastest lap of the session so far that last time around.
The slowdown is not clear yet. Oh, as Wallach is around. From fourth and dropping out of the top 10 now. Tom Wallach.
Well, down here through turns 11 and 12, that's where we saw a lot of problems last season as well. And more of the same.
Widgie thought about a move for second. Ella Spice now will move up to the fourth position. Spice with a much celebrated second podium of the season last week at Mount Panorama, and one spot out from duplicating the effort here today.
James Watson starting to close up to Indica Scarlet, but Jamie Hamel-Smith right behind Watson as well. This is a three-way battle for the top 5.
And Tom Wallach does slot back into the top 10 after his spin in turn number 12.
And Hamel-Smith tried to have a look to the inside of Watson there. Not able to close in quite enough. Looking to have a good run through the S's into the South Bend. Can really set up turns around turn 12 if you do it correctly. It's a scary place to make a pass, but there's not too many of them. So you have to do with what you have here.
Ella Spice with a slowdown penalty in fourth. 1 second lead for Wang over Hayward. Hayward with some separation back to Widgie. And same for Widgie over Spice. Top
And
four,
Dave,
about 3.5 seconds clear of Indica Scarlet.
A good comment from Dan Miglin here, saying sleep is for the weak. I'm sure there's multiple of these drivers that probably ran the Daytona 24. Seems like JJ may be one of them, running low on some sleep here in the PMR. And Jeff, of course, mentions managing those tires very difficult here at VIR with the nature of the corners here. Still watching this battle for the top 5. Mel Smith has been all over James Watson. Look to the inside. That is the same place around the snake again, but once again not able to make it work.
We mentioned Michael Herman Fry, qualified second, elected to start from the pits. He is already up into the 9th position. Matt Schlosser in 11th, just went for a stroll through the grass.
And Fry now looking for another one, looking to get through on Lane Doyle, and does.
Olivia Hayward was just off the track. We'll bring it back on now right in front of the front bumper of Sam Widgie.
Oh, and Doyle is off the track. Through the S-turns. Wallach and Schlosser are going to get through, still trying to make his way back onto the racing surface, and does, but loses 3 positions here.
Yep, from 8th down to 11th for Lane Doyle.
You mentioned Hayward off the track. Sam Widgie able to pull right back up to Hayward here.
I'm desperately hoping one of these days that we could talk to Sam so I can find out if I'm saying his damn name right. Because he's in the top 10 in points. He's been on the podium a couple of times. We've yet to talk to him to get that confirmation. I just know at this point it's going to be wrong, just because of how much we've been saying it. He goes a bit wide into the horseshoe, but Hayward misses the apex in the horseshoe, and it's about even keel. 1.6 seconds up to J.J. Wang, who's looking to finish one spot better than he did here last season.
Here comes Hamel Smith. This is that same spot. He's looked to the inside before, tries it again. It was a better effort that time, but nonetheless still not able to grab it.
The NASCAR bend and the left hook, a good 1-2
there's one
combo.
around back there farther.
That's Tom Wallich, and that is the three-peat for him. A trifecta of spins. He's still in the top 10, though, so has good pace. But a top 5 run dashed here repeatedly.
Oh, no!
Oh, James Watson. Way wide there. Now he's trying to defend against Herman Fry.
Off the track through the south bend, Hamel Smith gets through, and Fry up to 8th, now looking for 7th. And that's a bad place to make that mistake because you don't get as good of a run out of turn 12. Down this long straight, Fry is going to have a look.
He'll take it.
Wow, a move around the outside there for Fry. Quite impressive. I think Fry is going for the back to front bonus points here.
It's front to back to front. Pass up the second place starting opportunity to try and bust his way up through the field, and he's doing just that.
Meanwhile, up here for second place, Widgie and Hayward still continue to rubber band this gap between them. It gets up to nearly a second at times, and then Widgie comes right back and closes it in. Very good through the back quarter of the course, and then those first few corners really makes up a lot of time. Through turn 16 and through 17, and then down into turns 1 through 5. And then Hayward gets a little bit of a gap.
Hayward had a top 5 run going last week. Had a spin in the middle section of the race at Mount Panorama. Ended up battling for 10th all the way down to the line. 8 minutes left to go in this one, and that's Michael Herman Fry that is wide as he was trying to make a move on Hamel Smith.
Fry was looking to the outside of Hamel Smith. A very difficult move there through turn 11.
We're looking for an out to in and a big launch down the back straight, but didn't get it. Now on the back foot here.
You saw the tires just slid sideways right out from underneath of Fry, but able to dirt track it through the grass and get going pretty quickly. Really didn't lose that much time, amazingly.
Well, with the battle for second on behind, J.J. Wang leading by about 2.7 seconds across the line this time. Shout out to John Newt in the chat, cheering on our race leader. Oh, there's a bumper from Widgie up to Hayward. Hayward unfazed will continue on. They both, and it's a difficult corner, so I see why, but the horseshoe has proven difficult for these top two. They can't quite get on the same page rolling through there.
Well, for Widgie, he's very good through there. He finds a way to roll the corner very smooth and get power down quickly, but he just really doesn't have a move to be made on Hayward. I mean, the line that he's taking, Hayward is blocking the space on the track. So even though Widgie gets a good run, there's really nowhere to go with it.
Herman Fry, after the slip-up in turn number 11 last time around, has gotten back around Hamel Smith. Now is back of the charge, trying to track down Indica Scarlet. Much cleaner through 11 and 12 this time.
We've seen Herman Fry down into the roller coaster, make some Very impressive yet bold moves. See if they can close in close enough to Scarlet here.
I do believe the first time we saw Indica Scarlet on the Sunday Top Split last season was at this race at VIR, if I'm not mistaken.
And last year. Last year applies as
well. Yeah, I guess technically last year. So happy 1 season anniversary to Indica, I guess. Not quite been full season since then, but pretty close. Oh. Really dropping tires here and there.
Here comes Fry, looks to the inside around the hairpin.
Scarlett trying to maybe roll the outside for momentum, but it's not going to work. Michael Herman Fry on the charge here. Going to be the outside for NASCAR Bend in the left hook.
Oh, and nearly pushed off the track there. Scarlett with a little bit of a slide there, having to take the shallow entry through those corners. Fry comes out on top.
An authoritative move. With 4 minutes 40 left to go, Michael Herman Fry now into the top 5. J.J. Wang extending the lead 3.5 seconds over Hayward and Widgie. Ellis Spice in 4th.
We got to give J.J. a little TV time here. He's been so far out front. Really haven't looked at him at all, but all of a sudden we need to look at Hamel Smith and Indica Scarlet going at it now. Hamel Smith had the spot for a brief moment, but
he
dipped
dropped
a
tire. Never helps the cause.
Oh, it looks like James Watson. They have gotten off track here. Matt Schlosser and him are battling.
Watson gave up 8th to Wallach. Now is going to give up 9th to Schlosser, maybe. They're going to duke it out. 2 Daredevils going head-to-head.
Yeah, Schlosser thinks better of trying to make that move. Very tough place to make that work.
3.5 minutes to go. The gap is closing all of a sudden from Hayward up to J.J. Wang. About 3/10 quicker in that last sector, but the lap time is about the same. So maybe just a blip there for JJ.
Well, I think part of it now, I mean, we're getting down to where there's only maybe 2 or 3 laps left. I think JJ is going to start managing these tires a little bit more aggressively. Going to shed a couple tenths here and there to make sure that those tires in pristine condition on the final couple of laps here, so there's no mistakes.
Aggressive conservation from the race leader. Hamel Smith battling to get back up to 6th with a slowdown penalty to serve. But it is clear, and he can resume the attack.
Haven't really had any onboard shots here today, so let's go ahead and go on board with Sam. Trying to run down Olivia here. And as you listen to the sound of the engine and the tires on the racing surface, look at these wheel inputs with Sam. You can tell just how much these tires want to slide here in the late stages of this race. Oh, and there's a bit of a hiccup there for Hayward. Would you going to pull even closer here?
We'll be coming back to the white flag. This time around, Hayward wants to make sure that she's going to cross in 2nd and not in 3rd. But some defense to be played here.
And these S-turns, such a I mean, it's a fast part of the track with many
Hayward off! Oh, that's a time saver and no slowdown penalty.
Oh, no, they're both off!
Yep. Even keel. They find a way to cancel each other out multiple times over, but the fight is not done.
Looks like Widgie had a pretty good exit out of 12, a little less so for Hayward here.
This is Keselowski and Ambrose duking it out here. Widgie fakes a move. We'll pull back in the line. All this behind the race leader, J.J. Wang.
Will we make it to the line here?
Gonna be awfully close. And it's the white that's waving by 3 seconds.
Wow. He had a 5-second gap there. I think I would have slowed down a couple seconds and just taken the checkered.
Not that I ever find myself in that position, but I probably would have too. Probably not very sporting, though. Regardless, 3/4 of a lap to go for J.J. Wang, the race leader, looking for win number 3 on the season and looking to extend that points lead. Only other battle we've got here in the top 10 is Hamel Smith still trying to track down Indica Scarlett for 6th.
Battle between Schlosser and Watson has heated back up yet again. This is for 9th. Schlosser fell back for a lap or 2 and has now found his way back to the wing. Wow. And you can see the rear of the car for Widgie around that bend, wanting to launch out to the right.
Well, rounding the hog pin, he's going to go one better than what he did here last season. Virginia is for winners. And today's winner, for the 3rd time this season, is J.J. Wang in the Mission R Challenge. Hamel Smith is around out of the roller coaster. Jamie Hamel Smith running in 7th now, going to have to fight to stay in the top 10.
Oh, no!
Schlosser! Schlosser goes around. Grimmy, Doyle, and Trepsick all going to roll through. Schlosser going to finish down in P13 if he can get back on it. Goodness gracious,
wow.
Adrian Johansson just went around as well. Holy cow.
I think we could see it, the folks that we were watching, some of the fastest drivers on the track, even they were having many problems with the tires on this racing surface, and I think those incidents there on that final lap, they show just how difficult it was there towards the end. Still a few drivers out on track trying to get this lap finished up. Cattermole and Stackler. Looking to finish inside the top 20.
Good for Alexander Cattermole for sticking it out after the lap 1 incident. Fortunately, not going to be the best of finishes here this afternoon. But now we are official. So let's go ahead and take a look at the full finishing rundown. J.J. Wang, Olivia Hayward, Sam Widgie, your top 3. Hopefully we'll talk to at least 2 of the top 3 momentarily. Would love to talk to your 3rd place finisher as well. Regardless, Ellis Spice in 4th. And it shows a P2 start for Michael Herman Fry, but he started from the pits and drove all the way up through the field to finish in the top 5. So an excellent drive for him today. Indica Scarlett will hang on for 6th. Tom Wallish, despite several spins, will finish in 7th. James Watson down in 8th, Jamie Himmel-Smith in 9th, Amy Grimmy in 10th, Lane Doyle in 11th, Georgie Trepsick in 12th, Matt Schlosser, one of a number of drivers who had a problem there on the final lap. He finishes down in P13. Rebecca Davin in 14th, Brian Phillips 15th, Adrian Johansson in 16th, John Schneebel, Alexander Cattermole, and Connor Stackler there through the 19th position. I believe Vincent Stebner finished the race 2 down in 20th. But DNFs for Dennis Razy, Ace Gomez, and a DNS for Ethan Stewart in 23rd. Well, we are awaiting somebody to enter the cool-down room to get to talk to him, but regardless, Matt's our second trip to VIR here. A lot of good battling, again, all the way through the field, just as we expected after what we saw here last season.
Yeah, really great stuff from the drivers here. VIR has proven to be a really interesting course for the viewers to watch, and a very difficult course for the drivers to drive on, but produces some really fantastic racing, some great battles, and looking forward to hopefully having it on the schedule again, because it's given us some great stuff.
Absolutely. We saw a lot of drivers taking whatever they could get out of this track here today, and one of those was Olivia Hayward, who had a fantastic battle there for second, and we'll come out with the silver today. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, this isn't a track I'm normally that confident at. It's when I was doing my rookie stuff, this wasn't free, so I didn't own it until it became free. So definitely difficult to learn, especially that first sector seemed to be a bit of a weakness. But yeah, I was very happy with my quali lap. I did not expect to go that fast. Fortunately, outside Paul decided to not grid and just run through the field to fifth instead, which is incredible. But it meant I could sort of quite easily hold position, just focus forwards. Was up behind JJ a little bit at the start. He wasn't completely infallible, but just managed to pull enough of the gap, and then the tyres started dying. Sam was giving me the hurry up at some places, but just about managed to hold on to it there.
Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, congratulations on the P2 here. Obviously a great battle there, but both you and Sam seem to be pushing each other maybe a little bit too hard in some sections. We saw both of you go off in turns 11 and 12. How is it trying to manage these tires knowing that you have to go fast because somebody is pushing you very hard?
Yeah, I kind of gave up on saving them. Like, I knew I had to push, so I left my brake bias at 0. I normally put it further back, but the rears were so sketchy that I just thought, let's put it at 0 and hope that's good enough. I was absolutely expecting the car right call when I came back on the track there at the hairpin. And then in my ear, someone in the call was like, yep, he did the exact same thing behind you. So I was like, okay, I hope I got a good enough exit to hold on down the straight here. He kept having a peak a couple of times into that braking zone, but was just trying to put me off, never actually committed to it, because it's very easy to have a crash there. Me and Jamie, unfortunately, in a Stock Car Brazil race last season, had a coming together there, just final lap racing hard. So I do appreciate Sam being kind on that one, but yeah, I was just able to build enough of a gap through that final sector that when he closed up on me in the first sector, he couldn't quite make a move there, which I think was his strength.
Well, we appreciate the entertainment here today for the battle. Anybody want to shout out or thank?
Yeah, of course. As always, I race these with friends at Lahai, Ellis, Georgie, Ryan. There's always a few fun names. Shout out to Prismatic Motorsports. Amy has started racing from there, which is very nice. And yeah, thank you to you for broadcasting, everyone for showing making these races what they are, and anyone watching, thank you.
Well, congrats on the P2. Look forward to talking to you again here soon.
Thank you.
And now, for the first time, we're going out of order, but that's okay. We will pull in our P3 finisher here. for the first time this season, and I want to get something straight out of the gate here. Your last name, would you? Look forward to talking to you again here soon.
Sorry. Yep, here, can you hear me now? Sorry, I had to
Okay.
mess with a couple things. You can hear me all right?
Yes, can hear you just fine,
Yes.
partner.
All right. Yeah, so it is actually Wiggy.
Wiggy, okay.
Wiggy, yes. Don't worry, I've gotten pretty much everything you can imagine from those assortment of letters. So, yeah.
Well, we've been calling out Sam over and over again this season. You've been constantly at the front. It's finally great to get to talk to you. Congrats on the podium here today. You and Olivia, a spirited battle here all race long. Got to be, even in a short race like this, got to be pretty tiresome working each other over like that.
Yeah, tough. Obviously, it takes a lot of focus driving that close, making sure you don't make a couple mistakes that could end both your races. This track's tricky because it's got its tight areas and its long areas. Unfortunately, it like a couple of the last weeks we've had, this car is just hard to pass in. The draft isn't real great, and you expend your tires for more than 2 or 3 laps, and they're you got to cool them off. So you're pretty much just waiting for the other person to make a mistake and trying to capitalize on it.
Matt, what you got?
Yeah, congratulations on the P3 and the success so far in this season as well. We saw both you and Olivia went off in the same corner, the turns 11 and 12 before you got to the long straight. What happens there? You just trying to following too close and didn't quite make your braking zone, or what happened there?
I think a little bit. Those last 2 laps got, I think, a little sloppy for both of us. And just a little bit of a miscalculation. I saw he went a little wide coming out of that left-hand sweeper, and thought I could maybe get a little bit closer for the run down onto the back straight, but overcooked a little bit, and I thought that was kind of fun. We both did a little twin pirouette there.
Those are always fun. A synchronized slipping and sliding all around this course. But like Matt said, congrats on the podium here today, and congrats on all the successes thus far this season. Do you have anybody that want to shout out or say hello to?
Well, I think mostly just you guys putting this together. It's it's been a kind of a niche community almost ever since about the second season the car's been out. So I've always kind of liked to run it. It's a fun little car, kind of unique, different from the others. So I'm glad you guys are doing this, bring a little more life to the community, and yeah, thanks for that.
Absolutely. Sam Wiggy with the third place here today. Congrats on the podium. We'll look forward to talking to you more as the season rolls along.
Yeah, will do. Thanks, guys.
There you go. Now, I'll bring in our race winner for the third time this season, the reigning champ, J.J. Wang, back on top here today. 1 spot better than you were here last time out at VIR. And an excellent drive here today all around. Congrats on getting back to victory lane.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Well, it from the sounds of the chat, maybe some sleep deprivity involved with this win here today as well. But all that aside, this is a tough car track combo to wrangle, but you did it with ease, it seemed, today.
Yeah, to be real honest, I'm sore, tired, all that jazz. Did the 24 this past weekend, and my team only had 3 drivers, so it's about 8 hours of driving. Yeah, I actually feel an extra stint as well, so didn't want to be here. I actually didn't know how much I had in the tank, if I'm honest, but it's nice to kind of stretch my legs. I did practice beforehand. Want to give a shout out to Timothy Reed. I actually wasn't quite sure how to find some pace here, and in the Thursday split, just kind of following him behind, I learned some tricks from him. So sad he didn't come out for the Sunday split, because I think we went way faster than we did on Thursday. But yeah, no, happy it all worked out. I was worried about something dumb happening in the final lap. I thought maybe I should have slowed it down, but I don't know. It seemed like a good show behind me, and wanted to keep that going.
Indeed, it was a good show behind you. Matt, what you got?
Yeah, congrats on the race win. Obviously, in the chat, all the drivers talking about the tires here as we get towards the towards the end of this one, a lot of mistakes made by even the best of the drivers throughout the field. It looked like there with maybe 2 or 3 laps left. You had one lap that you kind of gave some time back to Olivia, just trying to make sure that you corral this thing and have no mistakes there at the end.
Yeah, I had to slow down through Snake. Just still pushing it. This car is very odd, honestly. It's sometimes the weight just bite you. But just the way this track and this car works, it's like managing a really heavy pendulum. You just kind of push one way and then hope you gave it just a perfect amount of strength. It's been difficult to fine tune that. My teammate James have been struggling trying to find that comfort with the weight. But I've definitely kind of like have a handle on how far it swings when you push, so to speak. But just in Snake, I think Olivia probably mentioned that the tires get really bad, and I was just kind of sliding around in the final lap. But I'm glad it all worked out. Pulling 5 seconds to Olivia is not easy. She runs away from me in any other car. So yeah, just happy it kind of worked out.
Shout outs for you as always.
Yeah, I'd love to shout out James Watson, my teammate. He is kind of trying the full season with me, at least as much as he can. Big shout out to the PMR community who came out even in a really tiring 24-hour weekend. Nice to see people come in and nice to see some new faces try out this community as well. And, I give my thanks to the great job in the booth that you two do for that. Kind of revitalized this car for Sunday, and I love seeing that. Big shout out to Dan Miglin, who was my teammate for the 24 and was in the stands for today. Happy for the support on there. And yeah, big shout out to Jeff and the Team Watson Racing Setup Shop for helping me figure this car out. TWR setups. We have some Oval and Road to Pro people who have their setups for sale on the site. So go and check that out if you need some more help on the NASCAR ovals. And yeah, that will kind of do it about me. I'm about to go collapse.
Yeah, go party, go sleep, go do whatever you need to do, partner. You've earned it. Nice job here today.
Thanks so much. Thanks.
Alrighty, that is just about going to wrap things up here today at VIR. Matt, who was hanging out with us today?
Yeah, shout out to Ryan Dye, John Newt, Jeff, and Dan for hanging out here today in the chat. Really appreciate it. And anybody else that was watching while this one was rolling around. Saw some really great battling throughout the field, and we weren't too far off on Sam's last name. Just one little mistake, but easily fixable. So shout out to Sam Wiggy. And then I love JJ always has great insight. Really always a treat to talk to him about this car. And he said the word pendulum, and I was trying to figure out a word to describe the way that this car and the snakes, the back of the car would just kind of swing from side to side, and I think pendulum was a perfect word to describe that. So shout out to JJ for always having some great insight here for us.
Absolutely. His insight helps fuel us here on the broadcast, and ironically enough, this car doesn't need any fuel. I was going to make that pun when he said he had nothing in the tank. Couldn't quite come up with the A to B there, but pretty close. So yeah, that's all we got for you here today. Next Sunday we'll be in action at Watkins Glen, the Boot Edition, where it all started for us here on Turn 200 with the PMR. It is back again, but this time with the boot. So 3.4 miles of racing action across 20 minutes next Sunday afternoon. Between now and then, we'll have 2 races for you here on the channel. Tuesday evening, we'll be back with the Venom Truck Series at Iowa. And Wednesday nights, it is the Daredevil Series. The Lotus 79s take on the Cup historic layout of Sonoma for the second time in series history. That is round number 2 of Season 4. So be here for Venom on Tuesday. Be here for the Daredevil Series on Wednesday. And we'll see you back here at Watkins Glen in 7 days' time. Until we meet again, for everybody here with the Mission R community, for the GOAT, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson, I am Tommy Cook. You're saying so long from Virginia International Raceway, where J.J. Wayne takes his 3rd win of the season. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.